Well, good morning. It's Michael Douville. It is Saturday, November 21st, 2020. I'd like to continue the conversation that we had about usable income outside of qualified plans. Now, I love qualified plans. I think they're great. I think everyone should have this. It's a really good way for you to build reserves and to reduce your tax burden. I think this is a wonderful program for yourself. It's just that they have qualified ages, so that becomes age then becomes a function of retirement. And I think most of them are about 59 and a half. And you know, at 62 is when you can first get your Social Security, but you leave a lot of benefits on the table when you go that early. Now, if you want to retire before then, we're talking about probably using real estate rentals as a very viable and compelling investment for which to use that. And you can use them outside of a qualified plan. Still get a lot of tax benefits. You get depreciation, get principal reduction, you get deductions for that. So it really helps your tax burden, but they also throw off income. Now, I was fortunate enough to Wednesday talk with Dr. Lawrence Yun, who is the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors. He had a couple really good points in talking that there's a trend. We used to see the millennials moving to the inner city. They're getting apartments and condos, and they were single and they were in the single scene and they were living in the middle of the city. Now we're starting to see people leave the center of the city and move out to the suburbs or out to the less populated areas. And of course, that's a trend we've been talking about anyway, because you know, as millennials, as they start doing family formations, they start to want a backyard with a swing set, and a sandbox, and a place for the kids to ride their bicycles. They're just like the rest of us generations that were in front of them, and this is accelerating. So there's a trend that you can make some money if you want to do some market research. Look for properties that are going to be suitable for the millennials moving out. So small entry-level houses, small 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage. Could be a 4-bedroom, 3 bedrooms and an office. What a great property. Somewhere in a suburb, somewhere a little further out, you can do vector studies and certainly get that. That would be a great trend. And this is going to be a decades-long trend. So you as an investor, you can buy rentals on these properties. So we talked about the fact, how do we distinguish a rental from a good rental? You know, all these properties are going to rent, but we want good rentals. We want great rentals if we can get them. And last Tuesday, we talked about doing the calculations, adding all the costs in. Everybody knows about PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. We also have homeowners. We also have homeowner associations, and we have some things that most people don't see, and that's repair escrows, vacancy factor, cost of leasing, which is fairly nominal, runs around $20, $25 a month. And property manager, you need to factor those in so that you can tell if you have a good investment. And we want you to have really, really good investments that are going to last you decades. So if you do some really good placement of these properties, these are going to last a very, very long time. And here in my marketplace, it's about 4.5% return. That's the standard cap rate is what we're looking at for most part. Now, different markets may change, but at 4.5%, that's been standard for several years. Initial, and then we grow it. Now, Dr. Yun also mentioned the fact that we have a shortage of housing across the country, and I'm going to tell you a lot of that has to do with the fact that the builders really got burned during the housing bubble when that popped. Why they really took a shellacking. And they've been very, very cautious. So they've not built enough homes. So we have basically a housing shortage across the country that eventually will get cured as builders ramp up production. But until then, we're going to have a great, great rental market. And this is going to be in several of the big markets. And of course, the ones that have organic growth, Florida, Texas, and Arizona, are going to do exceptionally well. So to recap that, we're also seeing a little inflation for the first time in decades. We're starting to see that come in. Dr. Yun also talked about that. So it was a great conversation with him. It was just so wonderful to do that. He just kind of confirmed a lot of things that we've been talking about, is that, yes, inflation is starting to see it. We probably won't see it for another 2 or 3 or 4 years, but it looks like it's percolating through the system. Interest rates are fairly stable. Rental should continue to be a very, very good investment for yourself, and particularly in the great markets of the United States. Now, please talk to your advisor, talk to your spouse, talk to everyone you need to talk to, and maybe this is something that'll work for you. If I can help in any way, you're welcome to give me a call. You can always reach me at the corporate office, 602-942-4200, or if you need to email me, it's Michael at michaeldeville.com. My best to you guys.